Live to be remembered. Grand Rising family, your welding coach Black Feniks checking in. And this Rising fam, I wanted to talk to you briefly about the concept of live to be remembered. I came up with this concept, family, I think it was around 2013, 14, something like that. And this was during the time where right before I lost my mom, during the process, right before, I think it was, it was right after I lost my mom, actually. It made me want to have more substance in my life. Like, you know, when my mom passed, I just realized that we're not gonna live, we're not gonna be here forever. It's not meant for us to be here forever, and it's a part of life. But if you do certain things and you impact certain people, even though you are gone, you will live to be remembered. You'll still be here. And my mom been gone, family, since 2012. But you could ask certain people, or you could look on, even on my profile, and you could think that she probably just passed because I keep her alive. She's living through me. And I believe that that's how it works when we live to be remembered, when we touch people, when we put something in someone that inspires them so much that they can't get you off their mind. Every time they run across someone and they help them, they remember that you gave them the information to help them. So, in honor of my mom and her planting that seed inside of me while I was in prison to become a welder, family, that planted the seed in me to become who I am today. Like, I would not be in the situation I'm in today if she wouldn't have came down there while I was in prison and said, "What about welding?" And I was like, "What about it?" I never even thought about it. She was like, "They make a lot of money." And she was like, "I seen on this commercial that they make $100 an hour." Boy, I never forget, that $100 an hour was in her mind. She was like, "Oh yeah, he'll hustle behind something like that." You know what I mean? So mom planted that seed in me, fam, and sent me some paperwork down there. And at the time, when I was locked up at that moment, I think this was like 97, Google wasn't jumping like that. So she went to the library, public library, and copied some papers off and sent me some. I think I had about 4 or 5 different sheets, front and back, and, some welding information, just talking about the history of welding, name certain types of welding, showed some photos and showed some things that they do and how it started and some processes, So I just had that little information, family, and I held on to it. And I was around 17 when she gave me that. And it wasn't until I was around 21 until I was able to take the welding program in prison. After I got my GED and I accomplished some more prison accolades that I had to achieve, I was able to take the program, but you got to be short a certain time. You can't just dive into the program just because you got a diploma, or you have to wait. I think at that time it was like 36 months. You had to be 36 months short. You had to be 36 months short. So at that time, family, I believe I was around, when I first got the information, I still had at least 8 years to do, or 9 years to do, because I was locked up about a year when she gave me this information. So I did, yeah, so I still had a minute to do, and I had to get shorter. So when I was able to get into the program, and that's when I took advantage of it, family. I took advantage of that welding. And I never forget, even then, there was some, people in the program and even in the prison trying to discourage me from getting in it, because they was like, "Man, I heard that dude was racist in there." You ain't gonna learn nothing in there. I'm like, shoot, if I got some equipment and some books and some videos, I am, because that's gonna be more information that I had at first, and I can practice, I can get it, you know, and that was my focus. And I'll never forget, me and another gentleman went in there and we ended up tag teaming. Shout out to Jamel Jackson. Hope that brother's still alive and well. He was from Cleveland, Ohio. I'll never forget him. Me and him went in there, family, and we went in there and we ate it up, you know, and we learned everything we could learn. And I was able to take that trade from there and start using it in prison to even work on maintenance in prison to get out and start working. So it was phenomenal, you know, what happened behind, you know, that seed that my mom planted, you know what I mean? So that's why I keep her alive, and she lived through me. You know, I was thinking about her this morning, you know, thinking about going down there to the house and going and checking on some things. And I was just like, man, you know, you never know what a seed will do. You never know what it'll grow into. You don't know if it's an oak tree. You don't know. Down here in the South, it's a lot of big trees, fam. And I was just thinking, you know, when it first started out, a person to look at it and be like, that probably ain't gonna be nothing. But you never know. You get the right food, the right nutrients, you know what I mean, the right soil, man, you can grow. The right sun, the right light, you know. So that seed, family, that my mom put in me really got me to where I'm at now. And yesterday, fam, I had the opportunity to graduate to graduate 8 students, 8 welding students yesterday. And this is the 3rd quarter. So this is my 3rd quarter of welding students that I've graduated up to this point, you know, up to this year. And this is the 3rd quarter of the year. And family, it was just amazing to know that I did that all off the seed that my mom planted in me in prison. You know what I mean? And one of my friends that I met when I first moved to Arkansas, when I first moved back from Denver, named Chris Walker. Shout out to Chris. He said something to me. He sent me a message and he was telling me how, you know, he was like, man, I just want to, you know, live to be remembered like, you know, like you doing. You know what I mean? The concept that you standing on. And I, you know, kind of read it and I thought about it. I'm like, man, that's neat. You know, I didn't even know that he was paying attention to what I was saying. Because I haven't, you know, we don't speak a lot, but we do talk. And when we talk, we always have good conversations, but we don't speak. It might go a year and then we'll hold a conversation, you know what I mean? But we always been cool. And it was someone I met when I first came down here, fam. And so ironic. I got to share the story because to this day, fam, I live off this code, and I didn't even know I had a code then, but I was always the one to initiate the conversation. I remember waking up, coming out of my grandmother's house and out of the projects in Shady Lane Apartments in McGee, Arkansas, and seeing a guy across the street. And I just walked over to him and introduced myself, man. You know, I said, hey, my name Lil Joe, what's your name? You know what I'm saying? And, you know, we got to talking from there. You know, I never forget, man, but that's how I introduced myself. And I remember seeing my son one time when I had the opportunity to take him to this park playground in Fayetteville. And you know, it just be random kids up there, and when they take them up there, they just go out and play. And I watched my son just walk up to some, you know, kids he seen playing and talk for a second. Then they just got to playing, and I was like, wow. You know, that was the same thing I had in me, you know, to motivate, to be friendly, to wave, you know. And I get it, fam, because they say if you want friends, you got to be friendly, you know. So living to be remembered, family, is something that is literally, family, that I decided to start living the concept where if I help someone, or if I motivate someone, if I encourage someone, or if I sell someone a product that can help them, they'll always remember the services. They'll always remember the goods. They'll always remember my presence, and not in a bad way. And I know sometimes, family, in life, it is what it is. You make mistakes as you grow. And you might was a person 10 years ago that you're completely not that person no more. And, you know, shout out to Big Facts podcast. I heard one of the speakers on there say, you got to re-meet me all the time. You know what I mean? Because I'm changing and I'm growing. And I know who I used to be 10, 20 years ago was not what's up. You know what I mean? So I'm not that same person. So, you know, if you steady elevating and working on yourself, family, you steady changing. And to me, I think that's living to be remembered, because in the process you touching people. So if you know, if you're the person that really want to help someone outside of yourself, you want to help you and your family. But if you want to, you know, I heard a man say one time when I was in prison, it's nothing, it's easy, he said, to help someone you love, a family member, a child, you know, some of your, cousins or whatever, grandparents. It's easy to help family. Salute, salute. But it's not easy to show that same passion, that same compassion, that same love to a stranger. Would you just go help them like that and you don't get no reward for it other than you just helping them? And I never forget that, because it's real, fam, you know. So it's good to help ours, but let's help someone that you know can't pay you back, or you ain't even look forward back to getting paid back. You just want to help. And to me, I think when you do that, that's the ultimate live to be remembered, because then people start seeing you as a hand. You know, like man, I remember when I was going through this and that hand came down and lift me up. You know how we love to say that God is with us and walking with us. And when we say that, you know, especially, you know, when I hear people that was walking in the light want to say, I want God to use me. And a part of that is being able to give some time, being able to pour into someone else. And you don't know, see, you can't determine how the seed turn out. I think that would discourage most people about helping people, because they'll do something and people don't change like they want them to change, or they don't get the information like they want them to get it. So they, like, you know, they'll get discouraged. I ain't gonna help nobody. I'm done. You know, but nah, that family, that ain't it. Salute, salute. You know, that ain't it, fam. You know, it's, you got to be willing to just plant the seed and let it grow. You know, and I realize now, you know, I plant seeds, I move fast, so I'm not the one that's out there getting the weeds out and pouring the water. Everybody got their position, but my position is to plant. So once I plant, I'm keeping it moving. You know, if I see you along the journey, I say, oh man, look at it there. But I'm not there. What's happening in the process is not my concern. That's not my purpose. You know, everybody got their own process. So I feel like if we just focus on helping family, focus on planting seeds and not worry about the numbers, you know, not worry about how many people you affecting, you know, just affect people. And one thing for sure, you know, I think about the concept of Christ when he said, didn't I just heal 10 people, but only one came back and paid homage? And I think those are the numbers, family. Those are the odds. But if you help 100, how many you got? If you help 1,000, how many you got out of 10%? You help 100,000, how many you have? You see what I'm saying? So the numbers can go big, but you got to help more. But if you help the right person, they gonna run, they gonna tell a village. You see what I'm saying? They gonna keep your name alive, like these, like this class and these last students that I've been helping since I've been back home, you know, since I've been back in Little Rock. Family, you know, these guys, these people are, you know how you can hold a conversation with someone and you can look in their eyes and you can tell that they're grateful, that you know, that they hungry, that they want to do something. And everybody isn't like that, family. So your goal is just, like I say, put the information out there, not to judge anyone, but to motivate them, especially if they say, you know, coach, you know, pull my coattail, you know, let me know, you know. So, you know, I like to give motivation all the way around the woods. So when you're teaching someone welding, especially when you're in the booth, to me, it's like being in the foxhole, you know, like the military, you know, being in the foxhole, you got to trust that person. You might reveal some things while you in there. You know, you might be going through something, just need to talk it out, because that's just part of life, family. So, you know, I realize now that living to be remembered is pouring into people, not being selfish with your life, but sharing your life with someone, so that way they can use that piece of life that you gave them, and they can keep it alive, fam. Because if you think about it, life consists of time. Once our time is up, our life is up. So if I give you some of my time, like for instance, I've been going live right now for about 15 minutes and some change. So the time I have poured into this video, I can't get back. But maybe it's someone that watching the video that can get something out of it, and they can keep this 15 minutes, make it live longer than me or them. You see what I'm saying? Because they used it to pour into someone else. They said, you know what, I want to live to be remembered, and I want to go on and help on this aspect, because we all got different purposes. So I'm helping with welding, but not only with welding, just with motivation. And sometimes it's just seeing someone do something that you thought was impossible. Maybe that's all the motivation they need, is to just see me do it or witness me. Because once you do it, family, is done. And that's one thing I love about when you on the grind and when you planting seeds. You're not focusing on all the stuff that you're doing, but once you look back, it's done. You know, sometimes, family, I get frustrated, I'm not going to lie, and I deal with certain things that I'm trying to work with, and I realize that if it's not in my control, it's not in my control. I can only work with what's in my control. So now I realize that I got to just let certain things be, but to sit back and realize that, man, look how far I done came. Sometimes, family, we grind so hard that we don't really, especially us go-getters and hustlers and entrepreneurs, and you know, we out here trying to make something happen. We don't look at how far we done came. We just trying to go. We trying to get to that level, and we feel like we're not there yet. And sometimes we don't celebrate ourselves. We don't pat ourselves on the back and say, you know what, we done made it through that, you know. And I remember reading this old scripture one time, and the Old Testament and Psalms, and David was speaking on that he had to remember when God brought him out of this situation, and he had to remember when he brought him out of that situation. And he said, if he did me out of this situation over there too, surely he'll bring me out of this one. So sometimes you just have to look through what you survived and gain strength from what you survived already to keep it pushing, to keep it moving, family. And to me, that's what living to be remembered is learning what your purpose is. And once you learn what it is, family, you stand on it. Like, you don't let nothing, you like these oak trees, I don't care what storm come through, it's standing, it's rooted. And your roots running so deep that you strong. You might do this here sometimes. The wind might even knock a limb off. You know what I'm saying? But you standing. You see what I'm saying? So that's what I realize, fam, now, you know, that living to be remembered, family, is going through it and sharing it with someone, but being able to know that through all these storms you've been surviving, and after you gone, you still gonna survive because you poured into someone else. And it's just so ironic that I even heard people say it might, you know, you might have 10 kids, family, and only one of your kids or two of them follow the mission, but it might be 100, 200 strangers that said that you was a father they never had, and you might was a father to them, and they disregarded or took for granted, because that's what sometimes we do as humans. You know, sometimes you can have a blessing right under your nose, as they say, and you can't smell it. 100%, family, 100%. So, you know, I just want to say this, rising fam, that I want to live to be remembered, because, you know, growing up, I never had much, fam. Like, nothing at all. I always thought that, you know, me and my mom used to say, yeah, we poor, but we happy though. We had love though. We didn't have material things at all, family. And I used to think that that was a setback because I ain't had the nice shoes, you know, that I wanted to have when school started. You know what I mean? So I had to work and grind and start hustling to make sure that I could have these nice physical things and these possessions that I thought that made life, made me happy. And then I grew up, fam, and I started experiencing life and relationships and other people with parents and other families. And I realized, fam, I had one of the greatest things I could possibly have growing up. I had love from my mom. My mom actually loved me, and she motivated me and made me believe I can do anything. Like, she pumped my head up. If I had an ideal or a dream and I say, Mama, you know, I want to think about doing this. Well, you can do it. Let's figure out how to do it. You got it in you. Let's get it done. My mom was great, man. And she was great at spotting things out in me and telling me, you a leader. I remember when she told me that. I remember when she said, you a leader. You just got to figure out how you going to lead people down the right path or the wrong path. But you going to lead them somewhere. Boy, that's what my mama told me. And I didn't even know what the word leader meant at the time, you know. So it's just ironic how she was planting seeds and she never bashed me no matter what I did. I picked the wrong woman, I presented to her, and she'll see that I'm, you know how you be thinking you in love, and she'll be like, yeah. She'll give me her opinion. Oh, she'll say, hey, son, maybe you should just mess around with this one. I don't think you should tie the knot with her. I said, Mama, you don't think so? No, I don't think so. Well, my mama love, I'm going to do it. All right, I'm going to support you. I'm going to come. I'm going to say I love you. And when it didn't work out, she still held hold me and said, it's all right. You know, I just, you know, I felt like I knew it wasn't going to work out, and it didn't. Like, you know, she knew some things, boy. Mama something else, ain't she? You know what I mean? Salute. Let me make sure I lock the messages in because I don't want to lose any, and I see a couple people checking in with me. Let me see what you said. Yes, truly grateful, family. You really got to, you know what? It's just so ironic how yeah, you know, it's just ironic how as you get older, you just be grateful at the small things and the things that you thought that wasn't important, the things that you thought that you didn't have that you really had. Yeah, you never know what's going to happen, family. Salute when you plant the seed, family. I mean, I'm alive today. I'm here doing what I'm doing because someone planted a seed, fam. My mama planted a seed in me, and she knew I was going to be a leader. I didn't even know it. You know what I'm saying? Like, yesterday I graduated 8 students, 8 of our people, 8 black Native Americans, black African Americans, black natives, 8 of us. And you know what? They was from the ages of 60 to 19. Well, to 20, because one had a birthday, so I ain't gonna disrespect him. He had a birthday. Shout out to Montavious. I was able to help them, family, and I know they all got something. I know if you talk welding with them, they'll know what to look for. They'll know what's good and what's bad. I know they can jump in the booth and make something happen. And that just makes me feel good that I poured my time and that I invested into these people. And I'm knowing that if we never talk again, I know I always live through them. You know, and they let it be known, you know, introducing me to their families, you know, at the graduation, you know, just, you know, already got a job. I got one. Shout out to Trayvon too. I gotta say his whole name. My guy already got a job. He started working Monday, I believe, in Conway. Salute to him, man. He was on it, and he also went over there and helped out the CWI. They did the weld test plates. He needed some help. He shot him over there. He called me. I said, hey, I got somebody. I'm going to see who wanted to. Rose his hand and went over there so he can get some hands-on experience, and he helped the guy out. And this is an old guy that's been in the welding business for over 35 years. And I told Chu, man, go over there, ask some questions, talk to him. Them the type of people you want to get around their apprenticeship to keep the, you know, to keep the blood going, to keep the hustle alive, man. You want to rub your shoulders, fam. You know, we got to realize this, fam. It's not all about the money, but you're going to get the money. If you master whatever it is that you're trying to do, you're going to get the money, fam. The money going to come. Don't worry about the money in the get-go, because you ain't going to do nothing but cheat yourself and end up losing passion at what you really want to do because you feel like you're being cheated about the money. But the money going to come. Hold up for a second. Let me check back in, fam. I see y'all checking in. Yeah, each one teach one. Growing. Oh, yeah, I feel you. I feel you, fam. I feel you. Salute, salute. Keep planting seeds. Yeah, I got some in Birmingham now, man. I went over there and planted the seed. I did a shipping container conversion over there for your chef, and it's gonna outlive me and him, and for him and his kids. You know what I'm saying? And people actually seen me go down there and do that, fam. When I went to Oklahoma City, people seen me go down there and build that shipping container and sell it at they home garden event there. You know what I mean? It was one of the biggest events, and I was there with a shipping container conversion that I sold, promoting it, that I did from start to finish. When I was in Phoenix, Arizona, is when I first started, and I built my first one, and it's at a baseball stadium. You know what I mean? So it's like, you start doing things, family, and you don't even realize what you're doing, family, but after you do it, it's done. You know, so, you know, where I'm at now and what's going on in my life, things are not where I want it to be completely. And I can be honest with you, I'm still working on the situation with my son, and then with housing situation, I got to switch things around, just regrouping some things, fam, you know. But I know things are gonna work out, fam, because I'm on the right track. You know what I mean? And sometimes, family, you would get impatient, fam, and you just want things to speed up, but just let it go. Just let it go. You know what I mean? Just let it go, fam. And I really believe that everything is gonna work out, fam, because regardless of me not seeing, you know, I was telling a student, well, not a student, I think it was, I was telling one of the people I work with, regardless of me not seeing my son, I'm still not going to neglect another son I see that need that same love. When I see him, I give it to him. And to me, that's pouring my life into them to help me live through them. Because even though I can't live through him right now, I know I'm still living through him because he want to have a relationship with me. I'm knowing that the little things I have said and done is still sticking with him, because every time I do see him, he remind me of certain things that make me say, man, he's paying attention. Like, he really look up to me and respect me. And it's sad that his mom keep us, you know, keep us away and keep us from having a relationship, but it's finna come to an end soon. But living to be remembered, fam, you got to go through things. You got to go through the fire, you know. So I always tell the youngsters that jump out there in the field too, you know, by making decisions with relationships, man, to don't be hasty, you know. Make sure this person you're gonna have this child with, you're gonna at least be with till this child is 18, or you might don't want to, want to make that decision. You know, we just have to be realistic and honest with people. You know, conversations I wish my father would have had with me. I wish my uncle would have had with me. I wish my older cousin, any male, would have had with me. I didn't have all those conversations, you know, just to be realistic and how to do things and how to guard your heart and, you know, how to chase your dreams. Because as a man, once you chase your dream and you get yourself set financially and you set physically, mentally, spiritually, your queen, it's gonna come together. Like, it's just ironic. It's gonna come together, family. You know, but you have to keep from getting distracted, fam. You just have to keep from getting distracted, and it's hard sometimes. But I can say this, fam. You know, the concept of live to be remembered, it isn't just for me. So when I created this concept, it's for anyone who still want to live after they're gone. And they understand that they not just live after they're gone, they want to know that they did a positive effect. You know, we all got a life here, and you gonna have that date you was born and that date you passed, and that little dash in there, it's gonna tell what you did, good or bad. And you can't knock someone from not knowing when they getting started. You can't knock someone from being blind. So that's why I say it's good to dive into something. You ain't got to know everything. You ain't got to know everything, fam. But if you got the passion, dive into it and be willing to know. Be willing to learn everything. Be willing to be humble to say, you know what, I didn't know that, but thanks for the information. And be willing to get yourself back up and knock the dust off. We know that a righteous man gonna fall several times and get back up again. We gonna stumble, fam. We gonna fall. But at the end of the day, fam, if we gonna live to be remembered, we gotta just keep pushing. And that's how I know that things is gonna work out. Like, I'm helping other kids, other people's children. And I can't even have a relationship with mine, but I'm okay with it. Because in life, that's what happens sometimes. You know that old saying that say it's bitter with the sweet. Sometimes you might get the money. What do you look like having all the money and you on the island? you by yourself, you can't even spend the money. But the money holds no value. I heard a guy say, but what if someone on there is you and you got money and they got food? They food is more valuable than your money. You see what I'm saying? So, in life, man, we just have to figure out our riches, fam. And one of my great riches, fam, that I enjoy knowing that I pour my life into someone else, and they can use some words, they can use the examples, they can use my suffering, what I went through in prison, that 10 years, that decade I spent in prison. They can use that and not go. The purpose is to use my example where you don't have to experience it at all. The old saying that you can learn a lot from a dummy. You can learn from someone else's experiences. You don't have to experience it. That's the cool thing. That's how you live longer too, because you don't have to make those same mistakes. You don't have to fall like I did. You don't have to, but you can use my example. So that's why, I talk to them, and I just speak openly and publicly, because, the best way to change someone, family, is to give them an example. So I remember a guy saying that to me before I got out of prison. He said the best way to learn is from someone else's example, not just from yours. We think the best way to learn is from our own examples, but we don't have to physically go through it. We can learn off of analyzing someone else's situation, analyzing history. We learn from history. If we watch history now, we know that what's going on now in America, what's going on now in the country with the shift, what's going on with the education now, with them taking all the African-American studies and banning them and keeping you from getting credits. You can't even get credits for them no more. Like, they literally trying to erase our history, because if you take it out so long, it'll be like it didn't even exist. Like we never did them like that. And make people like not know what happened. It's just ironic, because if we can remember 9/11 and we can remember all of these other cultures that had went through these traumas and dramas and horrific things, then why would someone want us to forget the African American, Black, Native American history that happened here? That's real, that's, that we still facing, so there's some things, fam, that I stand on. I just want to be a representation of it, in order to build a house, you at least got to have built one. You know what I'm saying? Before, it's one thing to say something, family, and not stand on it. And that's what I want to do with Live to Be Remembered. That's what I do with growth and development, because when I first got the concept, family, it was just so ironic. When I first got the concept of growth and development, I really understood that I wanted to change. I wanted to transcend from this one person, but I know I had to go through something. You got to go through the fire. And once you go through the fire, I know I can come out on the other side, and that's how I'm going to live to be remembered. So, You know, the fact, family, that we got to go through something and actually survive it. We got to transcend. Like, you shouldn't be doing what you're doing in your 40s, what you were doing in your 20s, what you were doing in your 30s. Like, you should do dramatic changes every 10 years. You should do changes all the time, but you should see a big change. Like, oh man, I'm not that person. I'm not even thinking like that. So the concept, family, of Live to Be Remembered, fam, was just to be able to help somebody after I'm gone. My name will still be ringing. My name will still be honored by how I helped them, about what I did for them, about what the message they got, about how I taught them, about what they read, about the videos that helped them. However I can be able to help them, I have helped them, and my name will live to be remembered because I invested my life in people, my time. Life consists of time, fam. And I think once we really understand this concept, all the things that we're going through, like I say, my things in my life I'm still working on. It don't mean that life gonna be perfect, but you're gonna be okay. When other people struggling and you see big things, you'll have issues, but it won't be like their issues. So you have to count your blessings, fam. You just have to count your blessings, because if you just keep that tunnel vision and you keep knocking on the door, facts, family, facts. Nah, legacy never dies, fam. Facts, facts. You keep knocking on them doors. Man, it's going to happen, fam. So for anyone out there, this rising fam, who's working on a career, a business, a concept, a product, push it, and master something. I want to say this before I get off. I grew up with the concept of I'm a jack of all trades, a master of none. It's not wise, fam. We got to actually master something and jack everything else. Now, we don't have to. I was talking to my classmate, my friend, this morning, and I was talking about we go from working to being self-employed, entrepreneurs, small business owners, but we are still working. We have to learn how to create a business and allow the business to work for us, and literally how to invest in the business and not in us. And those are things that, we don't learn, don't nobody teach us. We have to literally go and find this information. And it's valuable, fam, that we get it, so that way we can start setting our time to the side to really do the things that we want to do. We can really help people how we want to help them, as long as we know all our needs are met. Someone told me self-preservation is key, because if I can't help me first, if I can't make sure all of my needs are met and I'm at peace, then it's going to be hard for me to assist you and to give you the information you got, because my mind is so cloudy because my needs ain't met. So focus on you, fam. Have tunnel vision on what you're trying to accomplish. It's okay. Every successful person that has accomplished great things had to be selfish, had to have some tunnel vision. So if it's something that you're going to do that's going to be great to some, it is what it is. You might be an asshole to 10 and a champion to 1,000. Salute. It is what it is, fam. You can't please everybody, but I guarantee you this: those that you're trying to help and what you're trying to do, you're going to do it. You're going to accomplish it. Just don't give up, fam. Hold up, before I let y'all go, I want to make sure I see some of the messages popped up. I really was coming in kind of fast. Want to make sure I ain't missed nothing. Yeah, learn that 30, fam. Hey, you're never too late to learn. So the main thing, family, I would say, fam, is to, in living to be remembered, it's knowing what you're trying to do, knowing what your target is, just like in business. And it's an old saying that says, swear to your own hurt and change not. Meaning, you're going to stand on what you're standing on regardless if no one stand on it at all. If it's lonely, you got to walk by yourself. It is what it is. But just like I was talking about my friend that I met when I first came back to Arkansas, he texted me and he said, I'm just trying to live to be remembered. A concept that he got from me. So you never know how you touching people, how you reaching people, how people really getting the concept of what you're trying to do, because sometimes some people think that certain things are words when they really see that it's motivation. Like, it's more than just a word for me to say HogOn. It's motivation. It's hustling over grounded obstacles naturally, meaning that we're going to go through something, family. We got to go around it. We got to go through it or over it, but we got to go through it, family. We got to get a HogOn. Like, it's not just something to say, even though it's something to say. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, so, you know, it's the proof is in the pudding, fam. If we're going to do something that's going to be phenomenal in life, fam, it's going to be some fire. You might have to stand alone. You might, there's going to be some rejection. It's going to be some drama. But at the end of the day, fam, just like the concept of the 3 Hebrew boys in the fire, you're going to be in the fire, but you're going to come out without smelling like smoke, fam. Remember that. HogOn, y'all be blessed. It'll be remembered.